So, is Mexico looking to join the BRICS countries? Our neighbor to the south, our supposed trade ally ourselves, are they looking to leave that and or even partner up with BRICS as well? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome back to Everyman Prepping. And there's been a lot of talk lately about Mexico, just the last week or so, wanting to join BRICS, applying to join BRICS. Now, I don't have articles to show you anything right now because you can't find any. So do I think this is happening? Not sure, but we need to talk about what if it would happen or why Mexico would want it to happen. But I can't find articles, anything coming out of the Mexican government to support it. But you just see it online on blogs, people mention on financial reports, but nothing can point to an actual governmental official application into BRICS. And that, for those of you who don't know, BRICS stands for, it's 5 countries that created a financial cooperative to fight the West, basically. And the first countries are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now there's many other countries that are looking to join. You have Iran, Saudi Arabia, India, Turkey, the supposed NATO ally, which I don't think really is a NATO ally. Egypt, if I said that, Argentina, all the stands, to Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, all the stands want to join. It's growing larger and larger week by week. More countries want to get in. I don't think it's because it's the new shiny object, the new kid on the block. I think it's because they see the death of the dollar coming, the death of the petrodollar, the move to maybe the petro-yuan, the reserve currency switching, and they want to be on the right side of this. They don't want to be left behind. And frankly, I think most of those countries and a lot of the world is tired of the U.S. hegemony, the U.S. petrodollar, the bullying of the U.S. government with their dollars in the military. And they see this as an opportunity to fight back and get on what they would consider the right side. So I think Mexico would consider this. And as a side note, also, we talked about Iran and Saudi Arabia. Just last week, China brokered a relations deal so they can get back into relations and further that cause. I have a video coming out either later today, tomorrow. We'll talk more about how that's really going to impact the petrodollar and the U.S. as a reserve currency. But look forward to that video coming out. Now back to Mexico. And also, by the way, please like the video, share, comment below with what you think is going on with this. What do you think about Mexico joining? And as for the channel, please subscribe if you haven't done so. We'd love to have you join us here. So Mexico, think about it this way. Russia invaded Ukraine because Ukraine was hedging towards NATO being pushed by the West, and they saw it as a security threat. Well, Mexico might be the United States, Ukraine. If they join BRICS and then they start getting, Chinese investment, Russian investment in there, even, bringing in Russian, Chinese engineers, other people, military maybe, to support their investments, to protect their investments, well, you're going to have a neighbor to the south of you that, is basically allied with your enemy. And why would Mexico do this? Obviously, that's a huge problem for the United States. China and Russia would love it because it would help to destabilize the United States. Well, why would Mexico do this? Well, maybe they see the writing on the wall. They see the problems the U.S. is having. They want to break from that. They maybe see that if they're so tied to the U.S. economy and the U.S. dollar, maybe it's time for them to make a break. Now, Mexico gets a ton of money from immigrants in the United States, both legal and illegal, that send money back to Mexico. They make money here, they send it back there. There's a huge economy for that. How would Mexico jeopardize that? I think the only way they would do that if they got promises from the BRICS nations for investment in their country, build plants and manufacturing, other investment support, so the people there don't have to leave, go to the United States for a decent wage, a decent job. If that would happen and the people would stay there, I think Mexico might look at it. It would give them a lot more power. And what country wouldn't want that? And I do have one thing to show you, which I'll show you here. Is this came out last week, and it was talking about, I'll go up here, Mexico's president says Mexico is safer than the U.S. This is about the 4 kidnapped people in Mexico. 4 United States citizens were kidnapped, 2 were killed. He was doing a press conference, and he was talking about how safe the United States was. But the most important part is down here at the bottom, where last week it says Senator Lindsey Graham, he said he was planning to introduce legislation that would designate the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations and authorize the United States to operate in Mexico to dismantle drug labs. So let's step back and just look at that. A U.S. senator said he wants to make legislation that will allow our country, the United States, to basically invade and attack another sovereign country without their permission. Just go in there and attack drug labs and drug cartels. Are those bad? Yes. Should they be getting rid of? Yes. But maybe you should do it in cooperation with that country. Joint forces, be invited to do that. Otherwise, you're basically almost invading. So Lindsey Graham, we know, is a little war hawk. There's never a war he hasn't liked. He's already talked about shooting down Russian planes also. But, he says, he wants to make, a law that says, hey, United States, we're just going to cruise across the border, blow up some stuff in Mexico and come back. And the Lopez Obardo, the president of Mexico, has said, that's a lack of respect for our independence, which it is, because you just basically said we're going to go in your country. Kind of like we're doing in Syria right now, basically setting up bases in Syria. So he wants, so let's set up bases in Mexico. The Mexican president further went on to say, quote, we are not a protectorate of the United States or a colony of the United States. Mexico is a free, independent, sovereign country. We don't take orders from anyone. So, now, keep that in mind, what he's saying there. We're not a protectorate. We're not a colony of the United States. It's part of that United States hegemony, how their influence over people. A lot of these smaller countries, they're tired of it. They're tired of this. And they see that if we join BRICS and get in with, other countries that have the majority of the population of the world, I think it's like 60%, because you got India, China, Russia, South America, Brazil, and then you can add in all those other smaller countries. They're going to have a bigger economy, bigger world population than the West. And, this might be a time to push back against that bully. So that's why Mexico would do it. Would it be a blow to the United States? Yes. Think about the trade. We already have a ton of stuff coming from China. And then we get a ton of stuff from Mexico. There's a lot of other places in the East, Vietnam, the Philippines that make some stuff. But if you look at Mexico and China, huge source of imports into our country here. If those would ally up, and then, then they control a lot of the trade. They could slow down production. They could, sanction. They could withhold production and shipping, which China kind of did during their little lockdown period. It could really hurt the finance of the United States. It could definitely be a possibility. Like I said, I don't have anything officially coming from Mexico that says that they're doing this. They have applied. You look up the BRICS organization, there's nothing there. There's a lot of talk about it. And with this incident with Lindsey Graham, what he said and the president's response, I can see it happening. It might be the chance for Mexico to switch up sides. Who knows? It'd be very bad for the United States. That's for sure. So I just want to, get this out a little bit, because I know people are hearing about it. Like I said, can't find it anywhere. It might be happening. It'd be bad for the U.S. I could see Mexico doing it for the points I made earlier in the video. Write down in the comments below what you think. Do you think Mexico would ever switch sides? What do you think the impact of the United States would be? What are your thoughts? Put them down below. And until next time, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.